Hi there. Good morning, everyone. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here today with me. I needed some company this morning. I'm really glad that you tuned in to join me. And I want to start off by thanking you again for being here and also for the great emails you've been sending me. Honestly, I'm so overwhelmed by just the love and the kindness of all of you. You just are so appreciative, and I'm just honored to be part of this journey with you, and so happy that the articles that we write about and that our bloggers write about really resonate with you and really help you in a very specific and concrete way to make decisions and get on with your life. You know, we're a very interesting demographic, us women over 60. There's a lot of attention given to millennial, younger people, and even the 50-year-old, 40, 50-year-old women. Still, very much a focus of conversation and engagement. But when we get to be 60, I've always said this, that there's just a huge leap. Something happens. It's very, very different when you're in your 60s and 70s for sure. And I think that that's why 60 and Me has touched a lot of your hearts, because we're not trying to be anything more than what we are. We're just like you on this trip through the 60s. And I think it's a really fun time. You know, despite the challenges with our aging bodies and maybe flexibility and things that we think should be going wrong with us in our 60s, it's a pretty cool time to be around. So thanks again for being here. Now, I'm drinking my tea this morning. I've decided to go real simple. I'm doing Earl Grey. I love this packaging. It's really cool. It's a company called Hidden Garden. I think it's a UK company. I believe I picked this up in a hotel when I was traveling. But I just love the design on that. It's really cute. But anyway, I've got my mug of tea and I'm ready for a new day. So I hope you are too. I wanted to chat though about something, going back to stereotypes of aging. This whole idea that somehow our mental faculties change as we get older. And in fact, I read a poster once. It says something like, "Don't worry about getting older, worry about getting boring." I think that's really, really fun. That is somehow an attitude that we have to maintain in our 60s that says we can just continue to do creative things. Our brains still work. They still grow. It's not, downhill. It's really over and then full speed ahead. So I think that's the important thing to remember. And I wanted to chat about things you can do to keep that mental attitude of positivity and youthfulness, in quotes. In the sense that everything's possible. You don't have to eliminate any ideas from your world. There may be some boundaries you have to respect, but that's how life is. We are where we are because of decisions we've made, and we have to own that. And that's for me too. We all have to own our decisions. But anyway, this is important in terms of exercises, physical things you can do to keep your brain active. And there's sort of 6 or so creative tasks that I think you can play with. I've got a hair right in my eye there. Here we go. I just like I can see through it. So anyway, you don't lose your mental sharpness. Just keep going. Play games. For example, at 60 and Me, we've just started a section on our homepage. It's called Games, and it's every game that you could imagine, every category, puzzles, word games, strategy games, and people seem to love it. It's really popular. But it's right, if you go to the top of the website, 60andme.com, you'll see the word games, and then click on that, and it takes you to a whole world of games. That's just one place you can go. Of course, you've got your Xboxes and Nintendos and other games that I know a lot of women play. This is a misnomer that women are a big group of online gamers. So I think that's another thing we need to consider. There are games we can play online like bridge and chess, Sudoku, crosswords, all kinds of things. And then in addition to what we do on 60andMe for no charge, there's actually another site that we use sometimes called Luminosity. It's Lumosity, not Lumosity. And we can leave the link in the article. But Lumosity is a subscription-based game platform, and it's got some great games just to keep you thinking. It's got like little matching and remembering and memory games, and it's very good for specifically keeping your brain active. So it's really important. And you can do things like making lists, counting down things. There's ways you can keep your brain active. Just try, for example, to remember a phone number. When was the last time you had to remember a phone number? Maybe just try to count, remember number sequences, things that stretch you a little bit. Another thing you can do is build a rich social life. Now, we talk about this a lot, and of course, people are challenged with making friendships in their 60s and 70s. But there are some things you can do just with people locally that you know. I mean, even start with your family. Do creative things with your family and your friends. Ask each other challenging questions. Ask questions that are not just simple yes/no questions, but talk about challenging topics. Probably should avoid politics because that's a hot potato for a lot of people. But you can have conversations about topics that just make you think and go a little bit deeper in the conversation. Push it. Push the conversations. You could also watch movies together. We used to do this so much when I had my kids at home. We don't do it so much now. We're all so busy. But watching movies, going out to a movie together, and then just at the end saying, "What did you like about that movie?" Not did you like the movie or yes or no, but what did you like about that? Or what did you find interesting about that movie? Ask questions that probe. That's really important. Another thing, ask questions. If you have a question like, where did that come from? Or how was that? What was it? Something yesterday I was trying to figure out how it worked. And I just went online and typed it in, and it was like, how does that work? And it was like, oh, that's how it does that. Interesting. You sometimes don't know. How do they make salted caramel? I'm really curious. So I can make it myself. But no, seriously, it's just a matter of asking questions. Another thing is just to send letters, write text messages, pick up the phone, do things that make you think about a topic that you're going to talk about together. I watch a lot of TED Talks. TED.com. They're just talks that people record all around the world at TED events, and then you can watch them back. All kinds of topics from loneliness to to longevity, and then all the way to practical things, discoveries, innovations, design, entertainment. Really cool. But those are things you can watch on TV or even on Netflix. There's lots of documentaries. Just push yourself to do something that's not the normal. Do something outside the normal. Another thing you can do is get creative. Do things with your hands that are creative. I paint rocks, as you know, and I started some other little hobbies with collage. I love paper, and so I just get magazines and I create almost like little vision boards. But they're just things that call to me, and I put them together in a collage. No one judges. No one's judging my competency. No one cares whether it's good or bad. It's just what it is. It's my expression of myself. And you can actually do a lot of this fun stuff with grandkids. And not even if you don't have grandchildren or children, the neighborhood schools or community clubs. They often have after-school programs you can help out with, but where you can just get down with the glue and paper and make a scrapbook. I always do it too with pictures. Even though I love digital, I always order pictures that are special and then put them in a collage. It's just me. But, you can make things up. And in fact, my grandson and Jack, hi Jack, if you're watching. Jack and I have a fun thing we do on the train. When we travel, he created this game all by himself. It's the most amazing game, and I just was incredible. He came up with it, but he basically built like a map of different shapes and colors, and all over the page. And then you have you time yourself and connecting in a way, dots, but they're not all dots. They can be triangles or squares, colors, and then you have to join up all the different dots in the least amount of time. It's really a cool game, Jack. I love it. And but you can do those kinds of things, make up games, and just use your imagination. Children, young people are so good at that. They're just so good at coming up with creative ways of enjoying their life and having fun. We should learn from them. So another thing we can do, for example, is do things differently. We have talked about this a little bit with brain functions, and that is, for example, if you always brush your teeth with your right hand, try brushing them with your left hand. Do things with the other hand, try different approaches. I sometimes, in my room, which is very small, I close my eyes and just try to walk a few steps, just imagining what it's like to not be able to see, and just to you really do feel a heightened sense of sensory awareness. It's quite amazing. But just do things that are unusual. Take a different route to the shops. Walk down a different street. Go to a museum in town that you've never been to, or an art gallery. or just a little cafe somewhere that you've passed by 10 times and thought, just go in and have a cup of tea, or just go in, look around and go out. You don't have to even sit down and buy anything, but just that doing something different. And the final thing that we talk about in this article is creating your story, telling your story, telling the story that is of your life. Right where you are at this moment in your 60s, you probably don't remember it all. You've kind of blocked out the sad parts. You've, pushed to one side the things that you wished you'd done differently. But there's a story there. There's a story of your life, of your mistakes, of your positive contributions you've made, and just use that opportunity to open new doors in your mind as to who you are, and pat yourself on the back for doing things that are really valuable and have been beautiful, even if they were flawed. It doesn't really matter. Build on what you've learned and be proud of what you've accomplished. It's just so important. But anyway, I hope that's been useful, to think of some ways to creatively generate activity in your brain that's going to make life more interesting and fun. Look, we've only got one of these lives, right? We have to do something every day that's unique and wonderful and make the best of this precious time that we have. And I know that you women over 60 get this. I couldn't be saying these words to someone younger. It wouldn't make any sense to them, but it does to you. I know. So anyway, please have a wonderful day. Do something that we've talked about here on the list to get your brain into gear. Pump those neurons, as Robin Williams said in Mrs. Doubtfire. I love that line. But anyway, do something great for yourself. And tell us, what do you do to exercise your brain? Share with us in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation. What do you do to exercise your brain? All right, everybody. Well, have a really good day. Have fun exercising your brain and your body, and we'll see you all again really soon. Bye-bye for now. Take good care.